Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is going to be a little bit different than what I normally do. I'm going to be addressing some of the issues with Overwatch 2 in its current state, and there are a lot. The main topics I'm going to speak on is the balancing issues that we're seeing, and we've seen a lot of YouTubers complain, and we've seen a lot of Reddit users complain, and we've seen a lot of people on the Overwatch forum itself, or the Blizzard forum, speaking on a lot of these issues, and I have some of those screenshots and I have some of the videos to show. I will be giving all credit to anyone that I am sourcing, and I'll put that all in the description of this video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video real quick. So, the main issue I want to talk about is the balancing in this game. Currently, there is a huge balancing issue with counter-picking and just the huge beam meta that is currently in play, that has been pretty much in play since Season 1. And, I mean, we see it time and time again. We may not see it in higher ranks, but we see it a lot in lower ranks. I know I see it a lot in lower ranks, where there is a Sim on the enemy team, a Moira on the enemy team, a Zarya being in play. I was playing comp earlier today, and for 3 matches, back to back to back, I saw 3 Zaryas, 2 of the same, and then it was 1 Zarya, and it's so much Zarya. And then there was so many Symmetras in my games, so many Moiras, and it's just consistently a beam meta. And then ever since Sombra got her rework, we've only ever seen Sombra in these lower ranks. I don't play in higher ranks. But I'm sure you see Sombra in higher ranks too. And I know for sure I've seen a lot of higher ranks complain about the Sojourn meta that we're seeing. With Sojourn, Mercy, or in some cases you'll see a soldier in Mercy that has been a combo since Overwatch 1. And I feel like Blizzard could do a better job of balancing the heroes out. You know, I'll talk about what we could do with Overwatch later on, but right now, we need to worry about the balancing issues of Sombra and the other beams, and Soldier is a big one, Mercy, and a lot of the supports in the game too, who are currently very unbalanced in their current state. Mercy, Zen, Baptiste, Kiriko, and I've seen a few nerfs, and if you watched my patch notes video, or if you watched any of them, or if you watch some guides on the tanks, you'll see there's some tanks that are overpowered and need nerfing. People like Orisa, or mainly Orisa actually. Orisa and Ramatra are probably 2 of the more powerful tanks in this current meta. Ramatra just dominating lower ranks, low elos and stuff, because of his ultimate mainly. But, I mean, there's plenty of things we can do to balance these heroes out. And I see a lot of complaining and not enough solutions online, and in these forums and on Reddit and stuff. And I kind of want to go over that. And the comment section is completely open for all opinions. Let's keep it civil, but speak your mind. Speak what you feel is truthful to you, because I'm here to create a community, one that is respectful, but a community nonetheless, who can freely speak on what they think without feeling like they are going to be judged by anyone. So please speak on this, and because I would like to see everyone's opinions, and if they're similar to mine. I can't really tell. So I'm going to there's someone I want to source. He's got a pretty good point, and I will I'll put him in the description if you guys want to watch any of his actual videos. He's got some pretty good videos up on his channel currently, and the video I'm going to show you is explained in further detail in a bigger video. So if you want to see him talk about it more in depth, go look at his channel. It'll be in the description. Let me get the name for you real fast. The person I'll be showing you today is Flats Overwatch, Flats_Overwatch. He is, you may know him, and if you don't, go subscribe to him. Great guy. He makes some good content. So go watch his content. And he speaks some pretty good points on the balancing issues of Overwatch. So I'm gonna play that video real fast for you guys and enjoy.
I think that everyone's not having fun. Support players are playing Dead by Daylight versus Hog and Doomfist. Tank players aren't having fun. Junker Queen was OP as f in the Overwatch League, so they nerfed Junker Queen. But then when Kiriko came out, that she didn't get a compensating buff, where Genji ended up getting a bunch of nerfs. And if you remember, it was cited that the reason Genji was so strong was because of the DPS passive. Did anyone notice that they took that part of the DPS passive out this season? And Genji got 0 compensating buffs. So there was a Twitter sphere. They said that Mercy's win rate goes up as you go through the ranks. You know what Mercy's job is as you go up through the ranks? Do DPS pocket Sojourn. You know who's f***ing busted right now? Sojourn. You know who has a crazy high win rate and high elo? Sojourn. If Sojourn's crazy with Mercy pocket, wouldn't that mean that Mercy's win rate is probably higher because Sojourn's good? Oh, we didn't think that far ahead.
So Flats Overwatch says it best. Genji got a pretty huge nerf without any compensating buffs, as Flat said, making him fairly underpowered compared to your beam heroes that we're seeing, being Sim, Moira, Zarya, and he kind of gets countered by most heroes on the roster because some of the supports even kind of get through to him pretty easily, being Zen pretty much out healing his Dragon Strikes, his Dragon Strikes doing 110 and then, you know, of course, Zenyatta doing 100 healing per second. And you've got so many different heroes that just absolutely counter the way he plays. You got Lucio consistently being able to just stay away from it as long as possible. And you can say, oh, Genji, that's just a Genji skill issue. And I agree. For Lucio itself, that is a skill issue. But then you got Overwatch, or Lucio's, ultimate completely countering it. You've got Baptiste's immortality field countering it. You got Kiriko's Suzu can counter it if done right. You got Moira completely destroying you with her ultimate, and realistically she doesn't even have to use her ultimate to take you out of your ult. She just has to beam you for more than a couple seconds and you're just dead. And there's nothing you can really do about it. So it's just the current state of Overwatch is a constant state of consistently having to pick counterpicking, because of the fact that the heroes, some are pretty overpowered, and some are just consistently underpowered. And you have some who can easily solo carry low ranks, being, you know, Sim, Sombra, Moira, just any of the beam heroes that I've mentioned. And if you really want to fucking solo carry, run Zen in low lobbies, run Baptiste, run Kiriko, get good with Kiriko, but run Kiriko. Run Moira, I think I've already said Moira, but run Moira. And then some of the tanks, run Ram if you really want to. Get good with Orisa if you really want to solo carry. Because in this current state, those are the heroes that are going to do the utmost best at their best. Those are the heroes that are going to be able to solo carry in low ranks and absolutely demolish higher ranks if played correctly. If we don't balance these heroes sooner or later, we're going to have a situation where people are going to start quitting Overwatch, which we've already seen the player base and the player amount drop exponentially since since Overwatch 1 and since the release of Overwatch 2, we've seen a lot more players leave because of these balancing issues, because people are enjoying the game a lot less because of the fact that there's 1,000 Sombras that you'll find, there's 1,000 Sims, there's 1,000 Beams, there's 1,000 support heroes who can just counter everything. You have support heroes who can stay alive for so long, even though they're being pelted by the entire enemy team. You can, as Genji, you can chase down any support hero quickly and efficiently, and you can have great aim, but they will always be able to out-heal your DPS because, again, Zen does 100 healing per second, and you may not go after Zen even. You could go after Zen's teammate. It could be a really low mobility hero that you can easily kill, and Zen will immediately stop the entire push from one healing orb. One healing orb is all it takes, and then he can completely counter you with one damage orb where the entire team just focuses you down. You can play literally any DPS and a good portion of the time get out healed by these supports. So it's just it's not fair. And you could say, oh, you're just not good. You just have to get good. I have a video of a top 500 talking on this, and I'll play that real fast. I won't play a huge portion of it, but I'll play a little bit of it. And if you want to go watch the entire video, I have the video in the description of this video.
Okay, I'm done with Overwatch, guys. I can't play this game anymore. I can't do it. I can't stomach playing anymore in this game, dude. Like, there's so many reasons. I'll go over the main ones, obviously, and then maybe I'll touch on the other ones a little bit, but I don't want this video to be too long. Essentially, the main reason I'm leaving is how wildly and terribly balanced the game is. The game is so unbalanced, it is crazy.
And there you go, words from a top 500 player speaking on it. So if you don't want to take my word for it, at least listen to the top 500 who said it himself. And if you think that, hey, it's just you know, cut out, you know, he didn't say any good points, go watch his video. I urge you to go watch it. There's a lot of good points in it, and he speaks a lot of great he speaks on a lot of great things. But enough of the balancing issues, even though I will be uploading a video diving deeper into these issues, because I think there needs to be more people talking about this. So I will quickly tell you guys about the other topics I'm gonna speak on. To not make this video too long, I just want to briefly touch over the new MMR system. In my opinion, it's the worst thing they possibly could have added. The way it works is you rank up or down from every 5 wins or 15 losses. But it's confusing because in that, it's not about how good you do in a match. It's not about it's not whether or not, like, it doesn't track your stats through the match. It doesn't care about any of that. It cares about your win-to-loss ratio by the end of the either 5 wins or 15 losses. If you can have 5 wins, but if you get 5 losses, there's a good chance you're ranking down. If you get 6 losses, you're ranking down. If you get 7 losses to 5 wins, you're ranking down. It is harder to rank up out of a certain rank this season than it ever has been ever in all of Overwatch because of this exact MMR system that needs to be changed back. The original MMR system, yes, there was some slight issues and problems with it, but that's just because it was outdated and old, right? We could have updated it without having to completely change how it worked. The MMR system, in my opinion, was absolutely fantastic because it was based on how well you did it in a match. And it changed after every match. So it wasn't just whether or not you won your match and you won more than you've lost. It actually depends on your actual skill level. Now it's about who can run the most overpowered bullshit ever. And who can win with that. It's no longer about the skill of a player. It's about, let's run Zarya, let's run Moira, let's run May, let's run just everything that is so damn OP. Let's run Orisa, Ram. Let's try our absolute hardest to piss off the other team as much as physically possible to win. Let's do that instead of actually having any amount of skill because it's just the way this game is currently. We see a lot less Widows, we see a lot less Hanzos, a lot less Genjis. And the reason is not because a lot of them are nerfed and they're not good, but another reason is because there's no point. There's no reward for actually being good at the game. No one cares anymore. No one cares about seeing a good Hanzo or a good Widow. There's no reward for it. You're not rewarded for good skill. You're rewarded for you're rewarded for being dog shit. And I'm not saying that all players that play Sims and I'm not saying that all these Beam Heroes players are dog shit. I'm saying that overall, the way the MMR system is currently, you don't have to be good to actually rank up. You just have to play the most overpowered shit and have a full team on you. And have a full team with you, I should say. That's it. That's all really the new MMR system consists of. Is players who are 5-stacking with some overpowered bullshit that should be nerfed but won't be nerfed probably anytime soon. And I'm hoping in the new season that we see some well-needed nerfs and buffs to some heroes, because if we do, it may actually make the game more enjoyable for me and for others. So if we can see some really needed buffs and nerfs, which I will go over a little later in the video, I don't want to make it too long, so we will quickly finish up on this topic and move over to the next one. But if we can see those nerfs and buffs, the MMR system won't be as a big of a pain to deal with, because we won't have to see some crazy ass fucking bullshit consisting of Zaryas and Risas and Rams and Sims and Sombras and Mays and Moiras and Zens. And Zens are great. Zen players are fantastic. A lot of the time they are really good players and they have some great aim a lot of the time. But it's not the player, it's the hero itself. It's the Discord orb damage that gets done, which was originally meant for the 2 tanks of Overwatch 1, and it hasn't been nerfed down to be to match the 1 tank that we're dealing with. And the healing again was meant for 6 heroes, but ever since we got pushed down to 5, it's a lot more healing than what is needed for the team. You know, we don't need to have 100 healing per second. Maybe 80, maybe 70. That's a great amount of healing for 5 players. 80 healing per second is a great amount of healing for 5 players. And it doesn't prohibit other players and enemies as much as it could. Or as much as it would have if it was stuck at 100. And that's just one example of changes that could be done, which is a nice segue into the next topic. What can be done for the future of Overwatch? Well, for one, the biggest one, balancing those heroes. Getting Sombra down to a respectable amount is good. Somewhere where she isn't doing bonkers amounts of damage, like way too much damage for it to be fair, where the hack isn't so damn annoying to deal with, and where the virus isn't doing 100 every couple of seconds. That is insane for damage. Junkrat not 2-tapping with a fucking mine grenade combo would be nice. It would be very nice. Or May not being the most fucking annoying DPS on the roster currently because of how fucking irritating and infuriating she actually is. She does insane amounts of damage now. And it's not fun. And then Sim just being able to mow down consistently any tank that crosses her path. Nerfing Sim's damage is all we need to do. In my opinion, that's all we need to do. Just nerfing her just a bit. I'm not saying like we need to take her down into the ground below the dirt 6 feet under and absolutely kill her. But I'm saying we need to at least bring her down to earth and make it so that she is not consistently taking out every tank on the enemy team to the point where the tanks will rage quit out of the match. Just nerfing her damage a bit. You know? Nerfing, for Sombra, just nerfing her virus cooldown. The damage is quite fine. Nerfing the cooldown on her virus. The invisibility's fine. Maybe even nerfing the cooldown to 3 seconds instead of 2, going into Invis. Nerfing her hack cooldown would be nice. Bringing it up. I don't remember what her hack cooldown is right now, but I know that it's fairly low, and she can consistently hack pretty often. Bringing, like I said, the healing down on Zen, bringing the amount of damage Moira does. Even, honestly, her damage is pretty much actually fine. I think bringing down her range, like her overall range on her attack, would be better overall. And we can go into the changes done in another video. Changes that need to be done in another video. We'll do that a little bit more. I think we'll do an entire video dedicated to what could be nerfed and what could be buffed. But the summary here is and I actually before we go through the summary, let me speak on one other thing before we continue this. This is not hating on Blizzard. Blizzard is a great company overall, and they've done a lot as developers, and they're doing their best. And we can only ask for a little more, but we cannot ask for them to do some drastic changes in such little time. And there's a lot of complaining and not enough solutions to the issue. Matter of fact, before we even finish, I want to go ahead and show off some of the screenshots that I've taken, and I will speak through the screenshots in a second. Give me 1 second to get those screenshots out. This is one of the Reddit posts that I've seen, and they're talking about how most of the roster either becomes too powerful or too weak to have any significant impact on gameplay. It's not an Ana issue, not a Mercy issue. It's simply because they deleted our fucking off tanks that fucked with the balancing of the game. If 6v6 was still around instead of 5v5, then it wouldn't be this fucked. Go into a normal 6v6 custom game and you will have more fun. Also, why the fuck did Soldier get a damage buff? He is bad enough already, and he still outperforms Sojourn with his fucking primary fire, like, bruh. Not gonna lie, watching a shit DPS switch over to 76 due to their lack of actual fucking skill is hilarious. And I agree with this guy, whoever this is. It is true. Soldier in his current state is insane, and I know they tried balancing him before with a recoil pattern. The recoil pattern, it's not that it's not strong enough. It's not that it's not doing nearly as much as it should be doing to nerf him. I think there needs to be a damage nerf. I think there needs to be a cooldown buff. Buff meaning, bringing it up, or you could say nerf, depending on what you feel like saying. Nerfed or buffed, depending on how you view it. And again, these are my opinions. This is not factual. And you may think differently, and that's okay. I want to hear those opinions. Please speak on them. Again, be respectful, but I want to hear your opinions on this topic and these topics that I'm pulling up. Here's another screenshot for you guys by Reddit user ButtStallion. He says that I'm sure balancing is very hard, but they are doing themselves no favors in their consistent lack of communication. Think of how many times they have said they are going to improve their communication to the community. I swear I saw another one literally last week about this. They are nuisances within balancing and within the time frame they use when delivering balance patches, and why they hold off on certain heroes for seemingly too long. These are all topics that with proper change management and a solid comm cycle could be addressed. And I completely agree with what he's saying here. A lot of what he's saying holds some very solid truth to it. And this is another thing that we could do for the future of Overwatch. If Blizzard just would listen to the community a little better, it would change the way Overwatch 2, first off, Overwatch in general would just be seen, because it'll seem like, as much as the devs do respect us as people, it seems that they don't respect us as people. So I don't know. I think currently we're in a really bad state. I have one or two more screenshots to show you guys, just because they are very important to show. So this one's fairly long and fairly pessimistic, but I think it's important to go over. Sony Tater, this is a Blizzard forum. Overwatch has made so many mistakes in the past, but Overwatch 2 really has butchered the game. 5v5 was such a bad move for the game. Removing tank synergies was one of the worst things they have ever done. Not only does it just not work, but some tanks just don't work as a solo tank. They have tried to make most tanks fit into a bruiser role, and it just doesn't work. Doomfist was a better DPS. May would have made a better tank, to be honest. One tank can't push and peel at the same time. Some tanks were literally designed to be off tanks and support main tanks. Counterpicking also feels terrible. Overwatch 2 was supposed to let you play whatever hero you want. Not the case. Enemy diva, only a matter of seconds before you see a sim appear. Healing in the game is pretty strong. A little too strong. If someone is being pocketed, it's almost impossible to kill them, so it requires burst damage and one-shots. But one-shots and one-shot combos are way too strong in a game with one tank and weak barriers and less ways to protect the team. When they announced Overwatch 2, they said they were going to add more cover to the game to make up for the lack of tanks that can protect the team. A few boxes and cars here and there, and they called it a day. What a joke. They added basically nothing. Most maps are a nightmare to play on now, especially going against snipers, which have never really worked in Overwatch, but really are out of place in Overwatch 2. Res is somehow still in the game. Remove it already. You finally get that kill, and Mercy just swoops in and undoes it. It's dumb. Res is too much stronger in a 5v5 environment too, especially when used on your tank. Most healers just feel like heal bots now at the mercy of your team. Remove health kits and self-healing. Add self-healing. Lower healing output from healers and let them do more damage so healers can also play the damn game instead of hiding around cover trying to avoid one-shots. I don't get it. It feels like such a hot mess. There's no direction in the game or what they want the game to be. Team comps really lack cohesion now. It's so frustrating. They should have left the game as 6v6 but just added clearly defined roles. Tank being main tank off tank, DPS being damage utility, support being main healer and off healer. They totally gutted CC and I'd say almost too much. Some mobility heroes can get away with too much now, and roles other than tank lack tools to do anything about it. There's so much more to say. I can't even get it all down. The point is, hero balance is the worst it has ever been. The game feels horrible to play. It lacks the originality and fun that Overwatch 1 had. The magic has been sucked out of the game. Then Overwatch 2 still suffers from a million other problems. Ranks and the worst matchmaker in the history of Overwatch, the greedy stored overpriced skins, the lack of progression and free coins, the cards and voting, weapon inspects. I bet they forgot about that one law. The list really goes on, and we still have to wait for an announcement to let us know when they plan on adding PvE, which may or may not even be good. It really is sad how they treated this game. They had such a gold mine on their hands and just let it fall apart. I have friends that used to take this game super seriously. They played on official teams, played in tournaments, practiced almost every day, watched streamers and pros, etc., and they won't even look at Overwatch 2. They just don't have fun anymore. Overwatch 2 killed any and all interest in the game for them. It's sad to see that. One of the worst managed games, I think. Compared them to other games like Rainbow Six, I personally don't enjoy R6 as much, and say what you will about the game, but they have done nothing but constantly improve that game. I mean, they just added a mouse-trap on console to make it harder for mouse users on console. I just want a Overwatch Netflix show already. This Blizzard forum post speaks on a lot of the issues of Overwatch currently, and it's a lot of its problems, and he does bring up some really good points, and he gives some really good solutions, and I think talking about it more is important. So that's why I wanted to make this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe. It helps me out as a content creator, and it helps the algorithm push my videos out further. And like I said, the comments are completely open to conversation on this. I would love to see a proper community be built off of this video. And like I said, all videos that I use for this video are going to be in the description of this video. So go watch their videos. They all are amazing. The two YouTubers that I sourced today are great YouTubers, amazing. So please go watch their videos. And as always, love y'all and have an amazing day. Bye.